Greetings everyone, I am Rahul Mishra. Today we will talk about the methods that we can follow in order to preserve our data in a much effective way. In this context, we will specifically talk about data backup, archival storage and data wipe. So, let us start with what is data backup. What is data backup? Data backup is a process of copying data from one storage media, mostly hard drives, to a different storage media like an external hard drive or a cloud storage to allow retrieval of files in case of data loss. Consider this situation where you have important files in your computer. What will happen if a malware attacks your system and tries to encrypt your information or delete your important files? You will lose all of them. So, what is the solution? Apart from installing necessary security mechanism, which can be an antivirus, one should always think about backing up data. Data backup comes into effect if all your security methods fail. If the malware is able to enter your system, even if your system had all the security software installed in place, the malware will do huge amount of damage. In that case, you can clean your infected storage media and copy your backed up data back to the system. This will have no effect on your work. Remember, data backup is not a type of security. It works when all else fails. This data can be stored in external hard drives, pen drives, CDs, DVDs and even online like on cloud. Storing data on cloud is one of the newest techniques of storage which has gained extreme popularity. For example, Google provides Google Drive, which allows us to store important data to a different location. We just need internet to access that data. An advantage of using cloud storage is the security becomes the responsibility of the service provider. We can also set up automatic or manual backups in these cases. Another advantage is we can choose what type of files we need to backup. We can put in some restrictions if someone else also wants access to specific information. Now, you might be wondering that performing a data backup and copying data are the same. There is a slight difference between copying of data and backup of data. Copying of data means we are manually copying data from one location to other, which is mostly in the same physical drive. That data might be or might not be important, but in case of backup, we mostly create a copy of those data to a new physical location which are important for us, which can include system data as well. Now that we have understood what is data backup, let us look into what are the types of data backup. Depending on the types of data technique used to backup and the location of backed up data, there are different types of backup available. First is full backup. It backs up all the data present in the system. Second is incremental backup. It is a type of automatic backup wherein the system automatically updates the last backup according to whatever changes has been done by the user on the system. For example, you had a document which you created on the first day and created a backup of it to a different location. After that, whatever you update on that file, the backup can be configured to automatically update itself. Third is differential backup. It is a combination of full backup and incremental backup. So, here a full backup is done manually and then the incremental backup is done from time to time. Then there is full PC backup. This type of backup is similar to system restore, which is regularly available on Windows. What happens is we first create a full backup of the whole system when the system was successfully running. This process is done automatically. The system records the time and date of when the backup was created and then creates whole copy of the system to another safe location inside the same physical drive. Now, in case your system does not work and you cannot log into your machine, then you can use this backup to restore it to the state as it was at the time when backup was created. This prevents the user from formatting the whole system and reinstalling the operating system. Then there is local backup. It means creating a backup of your data in another physical drive which is available to you locally or which you can access physically. Then there is online backup. It means storing data to a media which can only be accessed via internet, for example, Google Drive. By the way, Did you know that cloning is also a type of data backup? Cloning actually is a bit by bit copying of data from one media to another. So, if you clone your hard drive which has operating system and other useful softwares installed, it will copy everything including the boot information of the operating system. So, if you lose all your data due to theft or if hard drive gets corrupt, you can use the cloned hard drive in place of the original hard drive and it will work exactly as your original drive worked. Now, what are the advantages of data backup? First, it is fully automated. Backing up of data can be configured to automate itself periodically. So, basically you set a time and date and the system will automatically back up data at that time and date. This reduces human effort in backing data every day. If sometimes people forget to back up data, so in those cases automation helps a lot. Here you set up a time when you want it to automatically back up. For example, you set it up at 5:30 p.m. every day. It will back up your data at 5:30 p.m. every day. In case the system is not on, then it will back up the data wherever the next time you turn on your system. This technique is used in a widely used messaging app called WhatsApp. This app backs up all your messages and media files to your drive every day at 2 a.m. Copying cannot be automated. In case of copying, you have to do it manually. Additional security. Now, data backup helps when all your defense mechanism that you have applied to protect your data fails. So, if you lose your data, then you can recover it if you have backup available. Then there is easy data recovery. Data recovery is fast and easy to implement. Well, there are not many disadvantages of data backup except that it takes a lot of space, thus the cost increases. Some of the examples of where we can back up data are hard drives, pen drives, memory card or even cloud storage, as I told you earlier. Now, we are going to discuss a case study which is a live case study and it happened with a company which is very near and dear to us. Almost 20 years ago, Pixar Studios was working on Linux machines. On Linux machines, there is a command that removes everything below the current directory on which it is run. Someone inadvertently ran that command at the root level of the Toy Story 2 project. Entire sequences started disappearing right in front of everyone's eyes. Oren Jacob, former CTO of Pixar, called systems to demand they unplug the machine immediately, which means they wanted the machines to be unplugged physically. After doing so, then plugging it back in a few hours later, they realized that most of the film was deleted, it was gone. 90% of the movie had been deleted by that particular command. It would have taken a full year of all 150 Toy Story 2 crew members to recreate all the work that was erased in roughly 20 seconds. But Galen Sussman, technical director and now producer for the entire Toy Story 2 franchise, didn't panic. The first thing she did was check the backups of the film. Pixar has always had a history of backing up its data. Unfortunately, that's when they realized that data backups for Toy Story 2 had failed for the last entire month. Ideally, backups should be tested every few days or weeks in order to make sure your data is all there. But at the time, Pixar was not in the habit of continuously testing their backups. The problem was that Pixar's tape drives kept hitting the maximum file size. So, no new data was being consistently written to the drive. Luckily, Galen had a backup of the film on her home computer. She had been working from home due to giving birth to her son shortly beforehand. So, they had connected her machine to the local network and copied the whole file tree there. Her computer would have received incremental backups over her ISDN internet connection. They brought her computer to the studio, plugged it in and voila, were able to retrieve the data and footage. The backup was about 2 weeks old, but the crew was able to verify about 70,000 files, then checking 30,000 files by hand. It was a miracle, but they were about to salvage Toy Story 2, only to scrap the entire film and recreate it within 9 months before its official release date. Let's see how we back up data in a Windows machine. Now, go to Start, search for an option System Restore. We then open it, click it on Create. In the next step, type a name for the restore point, then click OK. It will automatically generate a restore point for your entire system. If in any case the system gets infected by a malware, you can restore your system back to this point when you created it. In this way, you can get back your information without formatting your drive or reinstalling the operating system. You can also create multiple restore points if you want to. Now, coming to the second point, which is archival storage. We will learn what is archival storage here. Now, what is archival storage? In order to understand that, we need to know what is archival data, what type of data can be classified as archival data. In today's world, we handle a lot of data directly or use services of other businesses who handle our data. Now, all the data which is handled may be important for us or may not be. Those data which are unimportant now, but may be required in future, are stored to a new location, which can be new storage media, is called archival data, and the storage is called archival storage. Now, there can be a lot of confusion between archival storage and backup storage. In backup storage, we usually back up those data which are important for us. Automated backups may store unimportant data as well. In archival storage, only those data are stored which are unimportant for user at present, but may be important in future. Secondly, in backing up data, we create a copy of original data to a different location, but in archival storage, we move the original data to a new location to free up space on the original drive. Coming to advantages of storing archival data. First, space management. Moving unwanted data to a new location frees up a lot of space in the previous media which is in use. Second, access of data. Moving unwanted data to a new location prevents unauthorized users to access the data. Third, you can stay in legal compliance by maintaining all pertinent records. Deleting unwanted data can lead to a lot of legal issues. Storing of those data can help maintain a good business client relationship. Now, let us talk about the disadvantages of archival data. Now, storing archival data also increases cost. Since you are storing data to an external media, you are consuming extra space, thus cost increases. Coming to the last topic, which is data wiping. Before talking about data wiping, we should understand how deleted data works. For that, we should understand how an operating system works or how an operating system locates a file on the disk. So, when an operating system is asked to store a file, it stores the file to an empty location and also maintains a record in a table of where data is stored along with other information. When user deletes the file, the operating system only deletes the record time from the table. The actual data which is stored in memory is not deleted. The operating system only forgets the location of the data and treats that location as free memory. This is very similar how index of a book works. The chapters are written on the index of any book. However, even if you delete those chapters, if you remove it from the book, the index is already there. Essentially, the index is deleted in the operating system. However, the original chapters are still there. So, if the operating system wants to store new data, it can override that part of memory. So, let us take an example. Consider there is a file that needed to be stored in a drive. The name of that file is example.txt, it is a text file, and the size suppose is 10 KB, 10 kilobytes. Now, each section of the memory is numbered. Let us assume that this file is stored from location 100 to location 110, where each location is of 1 KB. The operating system will also maintain a record of which file is stored where. So, if next time you want that file, you can easily get it. That is called indexing. Now, if you want to delete the file, then you can simply press the delete button on the keyboard. The operating system only deletes the record from its table, which means it is deleted from the index. It does not delete the file stored from location 100 to location 110, as we discussed earlier. So, the actual file is still available inside the memory. we can use some data recovery software in order to get back that data. This does not happen in data wiping. Now, in case of data wiping, the system removes its entry from the table as well, as it automatically overwrites the part of the memory with either zeros or some other random data. So, in data deletion, there is a scope of recovering deleted data, but in data wiping, data recovery is not possible. Now, we will discuss some advantages of wiping of data. Now, data wiping ensures that no unauthorized user will be able to access your data or even recover it. Consider a case where you are either selling your old computer system or your old hard drive. In any case, your hard drive will have your important personal data stored in it. You would definitely not want that data to be accessible to anybody else. In this case, deleted contents from your hard drive or formatting your hard drive is not the perfect solution. You must make sure that the data is irrecoverable. So, the best solution is to go for data wiping. Now, data wiping also helps when the system is attacked by malwares. Certain malwares can enter your system and then store a copy of itself in the boot memory, which cannot be directly accessed by the user. So, even if you format the system, the malware is still present there and can re-attack again. So, a clean wipe will help remove the malware completely. Now, for our demo here, we will use a software called DBAN. The full form of DBAN is Directs Boot and Nuke. The software can be used to wipe out data from a storage media. In order to use it, we copy its content into a pen drive. Then we reboot the system and boot from the pen drive. Then we get a list of all the options. Here we press enter to continue with the DBAN program. You can also press F2 to know more details about DBAN. After that, it starts scanning all the storage media available. In our case, it found out one storage media of size 10 GB. So, we press spacebar to select the storage media. There we press F10 to start with the DBAN wiping process. The time taken to finish the DBAN process depends on the system speed and size of the storage media being wiped. For our case, it took 3 minutes to wipe. This process will remove all the contents from the storage media and will make it irrecoverable. Now, we can successfully conclude here is data is now an integral part of the society's workflow. Data is the new oil. It is very important nowadays to store the data in secured locations. It should also be ensured that the data is easily accessible by authorized user at any point in time. In doing so, a lot of mishappenings can happen. For example, malware attacks, systems can be hacked, or data deletion can affect normal workflow. Even if we are putting all the security in place, we should always look for different techniques to resume our work or restore the loss that has occurred due to some disastrous activities.